here to pay. Why? Because lot of things have gone kind of we know, but still we never bother to pay attention. So what kind of natural energy, free energy available today? River energy. You know what is river energy? Hydroelectric project, but not bigger one. I am talking about smaller one. Okay. And then windmill, we have seen earlier, right? And then solar energy, right? These are free. You buy the machine, you pay for one time, and then lifelong you don't need to pay, right? Until the machine is fine, right? Is there any confusion on this? So the example of this is this. This is a fantastic washing machine running in Romania. This is a fantastic washing machine running in Romania. Obviously, and these are one or two. There are many in Romania and Europe. This part of Europe. And you just drop these clothes, and you don't need to give detergent. You don't need to give detergent because this vortex, water vortex, removes all the dirt by nature. So this is free. The guy don't pay any electricity. So this is a cornflour mill in Holland and still running. It's not something surprise. It is still running. And there is nothing to be paid. Unlimited energy. And this mill, you see how small? The current windmill, you see, they are huge size. And this is small one. Just a double story or one story building size. Right? And then there is more. This is a summary of video, long video. I don't want to show you. Okay. So in this picture, so far I have talked about river energy, right? Wind energy. Why not solar energy like this? Okay. So in solar energy, if you look at, photovoltaic effect was discovered in 1839, and today is what? How many years?
2025.
How many years now? Long days, right? And still, you don't buy solar cell for your home. You don't buy. You don't buy it for your home because unless there is a subsidy, nobody buys. Because why? Because there is no enough value to it. The value you get by solar cell is not good enough. That's why it requires this subsidy, right? So, but why we stopped using the smaller windmills? Why we stopped using smaller these hydroelectric projects? Okay. So now it is important part. So if you look at last 100 years or 100 plus years, what has happened is this river energy was using for community purpose. Okay. So there is a community washing machine. So everybody can use and pay something little bit for the machine, the service, not for the power, right? And then wind energy was community flour mill. So in a village you have a wind mill, flour mill, you go there, you use the service and pay a little bit. And then you have solar energy, also you have like your calculator, many of the calculators have solar energy, and it runs for years after years and nothing to pay. Right? So then today, why we still pay electricity bill? Because we are told that lot of power comes from wind and solar and also hydroelectric projects. Then why we pay so much? And you know how much? In West Bengal particularly, per unit cost is plus minus 10 rupees, and it is one of the highest in India. Not one of the highest in India. Why? Nobody asked this question. We all go and CPM Congress, we do all sorts of protests without going into this history. And this is the answer is here, okay? And this kind of change is not only in three of these. That they were very small, nice, and now they have become huge mega dam. The dam destroys the river. The dam destroys the river. And we never spoke. We say, yeah, it is very good. Lot of revenue coming from we need water for cultivation, etc., etc. But we never looked at how they used to do 100 years back. There was no problem, right? Same with wind energy. The small wind energy was plenty in Europe. I don't know Indian history, I could not find much. But Europe, it was plenty. And solar energy is a new thing anyway, and it is to pay. So this transformation, small to giant, big, is the something that happened in front of our own eyes. And we never bothered that why we are doing this large scale up? Why are we scaling up? For whose benefit? Okay? And this is not isolated. Let's look at agriculture itself. Even standard agriculture, it was a community affair. The community will produce everything and we are bartering. And it is not 100 years back, even 70, 80 years back, this was very common in rural. Even today, some rural community will find this. So what was that? It was always free. Community thing was always free. You don't need agriculture. They never bought seeds. They never bought pesticide. They never bought fertilizer. The water was free. Sunlight was free. So the community cultivation was never any cost. So the rice was free, wheat was free, everything was free. All of a sudden, in 70, 80 or 100 years, everything has to be purchased. Right? And this is a phenomenon in front of us, your parents' time, our time, my lifetime. I am already 60, not very old. And then thermal energy, look at what happened. It was never free because it has to burn koila, coal. So it was never free. But it was never giant to start with, it was small. So if you had an opportunity to buy a thermal engine of your own, like there's a lot of factories, they will put thermal engine. The only thing they have to buy is coal, not pay for the electricity. Right? So this transformation of small and beautiful and then it was free, it has become now everything big. And this happened in your life. It is only 70 years in India that we see this transformation happening. Right? And nobody, like people like me, scientist after scientist, professor after professor, everybody experienced this without asking a single question. And that is what entrepreneur's job is. They look at everything and say, no, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right. So first principle is ask question. Ask question, every beat ask question. Don't follow because your father said it is so, because your mother said it is so, because your professor said it is so. It is because you agreed that it is so. That is the principle. So now in 100 years what happened? Large dam, left side lot of water, right side dry. You go to Kolkata, you see the Ganga. In Belur, in the summer time, the boat is only, you can almost literally walk now. What we have done? What we have done? Right? You go to the power plants, what happened? The pollution from city is moved to the village. To keep the city free, we have shifted the pollution to village, a remote place, and telling that electricity is pollution free. No, not at all. Not at all. It is not at all free, pollution free. And then windmill, we thought is a wonderful thing. This large windmill is a crime to the birds. The large windmill is a crime to the birds. The perpetual noise of the windmill of such a big. This is now a social calamity in rural areas. Okay. And if we think solar is beautiful, we are fool. We are really fool. We are not paying attention. So what we are doing in solar, we are doing this. We are taking agricultural land and putting solar plant there. You go to Europe, all the solar plants in agricultural land. Anything large scale in agricultural land. Most, not all, right? So, why this is happening? Somewhere we thought government and science is doing right thing. Somewhere we thought government and science, government and विज्ञान हमारे लिए अच्छा करते जा रहा है. तो हम लोग आँख बंद करके जो भी किया हुआ है एक्सेप्ट कर रहा था. So what when I say they means what? They means here government and the big businesses. Let us get it. What is wrong with a small thermal engine, small rail engine at your backyard which is producing current? No, it is pollution. What kind of pollution? Is the factory not making pollution? Obviously, thermal and power plant produce pollution. My generator will also produce pollution. Maybe there is a less pollution, there is more pollution. But then we have now we now know that this InGreens technology can be made 100 times better than what it is. 100 times better than what it is. Not everything can be discussed with this short pan, but I will try to do as much. Is there any other source of it that is really free? When I say free, I mean two things. I mean no money and one-time purchase, and the other thing is no pollution. No pollution. Pollution is the biggest cost, right? So what is this? So anybody heard of this person named Nikola Tesla? Everybody know Elon Musk and his company Tesla, right? But have you heard of this Nikola Tesla? No. सब कान पकड़ो, बच्चे लोग सब कान पकड़ो. You heard of it? Good. Why you don't know? Tell me. Why you don't know? It is your fault. You don't know. You know. So bolo na. You know. You know. You who don't know? And if you don't know, it is not your fault. You don't know, it is not your fault because the system ran to IT. There are 6,000 US patents. As on last year, there are 6,000 extremely powerful patents which are not published and made it a trade secret by the US government. And out of that, 200 belongs to them. And we don't know. Our whole physics book, he was a unit called Tesla. Yes. That's all. We never know who this guy is, what exactly the contribution is. So what he says, like Einstein says, E is equal to mc square, everything is energy, right? He says everything is energy, right? Everything is vibrating at even 0 degree Kelvin. Anybody has physics background little bit? Anna? So 0 degree in any high temperature or any temperature, the molecules will be always doing some vibration. Atoms will vibrate, electrons will vibrate, everything will vibrate, right? But at 0 degree Kelvin, according to modern science, there should be 0 vibration. According to modern science, at 0 degree Kelvin, there should be 0 vibration. But this is not true. Nikola says everything is vibrating even at 0 degree Kelvin. And this is something that no surprise. And then if it's vibrating, obviously it should have a resonance frequency. Obviously, and he knows frequency more than anybody here. He's not physics wise, no. He feels frequency. He feels vibration. Like my wife and today's people, they are more attuned to understand this frequency naturally. I am not so much, but I know theory. And Nikola Tesla said these three. So now let me take each two of these principles and see what that means. Let's start with everything has a resonance frequency. Anybody disagree that there should not be resonance frequency? Fundamental physics, right? Basic 12th standard physics, right? If there is a vibration of an object might oscillate much more high frequency or much low power required to vibrate at that resonance frequency. That is a standard physics definition. I am not introducing anything new. Nothing surprise, right? But this is a practical, wonderful example. You know, this glass can break out. A glass you put and it can break out. With some music you can break this glass. And there are plenty experiments done. Now question is, frequency source is there, the object is here, and what kind of, audio is a very low power device, right? Very low power. So how can it break it? How can it break it? And you know this 2022, this bridge in Ahmedabad broke. And you know why? Because of this music. And the people dancing, so the music and dance together, the bridge collapsed. I don't want to show you the whole thing because it's a very painful video. So the next question is, your 12th standard you have been told that military, when they go to a bridge, they don't parade. You remember this? Then why the hell we did this? Our government allowed that? That lot of people together playing music, dancing together, and bridge has to collapse. So how much is the power of few people, few hundred people? Each people will be 1 kilowatt. So 100 kilowatt, 1000 kilowatt. The bridge can be breaking that. Can you believe? But it's broke. It is a proof. Like the glass broke in frequency with small power. So now, I have been reading these things for a long time. And I was saying these are fantastic examples. What is the other example? That I can tell my student that there is a magic in the frequency. There is a magic in the frequency. And I was searching for, finally I found this wonderful technology. And this is the most modern technology. You know what is this do? Ultrasonic humidifier. Where they require? You know Google data center? Mega site, right? In US, the humidity is very low, right? In inter-country, humidity is very low. So the static happens very much. So in the data center, you have to create enough humidity so the static does not happen. You understand that? So the data center, in order to avoid static discharge, boom, 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 those discharge sparks, you have to stop that. You have to put some humidity, extra humidity in Western world. Even our Indian context also it will be no different, I guess. Okay. So now, if you read already the test, it is 90% energy efficient. Compared to what? The other way you can generate this humidity is take a bowl of water, put a fire. So firing will generate what? Vapor, and that will keep the humidity. Right? So compared to this is already 20%, 10% energy required only. How? Why so less? Because it works on a given frequency. What is the frequency? 160 megahertz to 180 megahertz or so. In that frequency, the water evaporates like this. It just evaporates. And the device, you know how much? Device is small. You can actually evaporate liters of water with these small 10-20 pieces. You just connect them and put a water film. You have to make sure they are not deep inside the water, they are at the water level. So the upper level will vanish like boom boom. Okay, so I thought this is fantastic. Then I read this detail, these papers and this technology detail, and I saw this is not just 90% efficient. This is 98% efficient. So what takes in kilowatts will take how much? Few watts. And the device already sold in market. Already sold in market. In lot of magic things you will see these. Lot of you will see the fountains are sold. There are mist coming. You will see this very cheap. You know how much? 30 rupees, 60 rupees, 150 rupees. That's all. So with such a small energy and small cost, you can produce so much of humidity. How? How it is possible? Is the thermal energy that we supply is more than this? What? That is the question we are talking about. Frequency can do magic. That is what all about. Nikola Tesla, that everything vibrates and everything has a resonance frequency. So the thermal evaporation of water works wonderful at 160 megahertz to 180 megahertz, but not at 1 hertz or 100 hertz or 100 kilohertz. No, it has a range of frequency in which it gives the maximum potential. Very low, 2% of the thermal energy is required. 2%. So if this is the kind of thing is possible, can we not use frequency in different ways, many different ways, and reduce the actual energy consumption in many technologies? Certainly we should be able to do, right? What kind of? So before that, my view on this is that the modern science has not understand the power of resonance. The modern science actually not pay attention. Even our physics graduation level master degree, we have not got very good mathematical modeling of resonance. Not at all. Even today if you go to lot of research, it will be very. So I did this some of this theoretical modeling on the graph. So when I asked graph, that my hypothesis is this. My hypothesis is prove this wrong. Locke says it cannot be wrong. It's a fantastic hypothesis. That resonance is a singularity. Now, how many physics students I don't know. The singularity is a fantastic word. It's an amazing thing that physics talks in many contexts. One context is Bose condensation. The other context is the Big Bang theory, right? The singularity. What is mathematical model of singularity? Probably mathematics professor like economics professor may do better. So the mathematics where equation cannot give a finite value, like 1 by 0, right? Something by 0. You cannot give a defined value, right? We call it infinite, right? So this is the resonance singularity and modern science amount. Now the question is intentional or unintentional, I don't know. It may remain intentional. Why? Now let me ask you, if you are the CEO of CESC, Calcutta Electric Supply Corporation, if you are the CEO of the Calcutta Electric Corporation or any other power like Reliance Power, what would you like to do? Do you like to reduce the consumption of power or increase the consumption of power? Maybe they are doing it intentionally. You don't know. Lot of money. And it's not one company. Hundreds of power companies have the same goal. So now, what we are looking for is the free energy, right? And professor, I have never met him before I talked to the professor. Mohendra told you what? That hydrogen has a lot of energy. We are not talking each other, but we are talking the same frequency. So what hydrogen, what you do? You produce hydrogen from where? Water, right? How? You do hydrolysis of water, right? And you know this is not new, right? Is hydrolysis something new? Hydrogen is very old technology. Even class 8 student will be shown. There is a cathode, there is a anode. there is a cathode, there is a anode, and you give some potential, and one anode will have some oxygen, or other one will have hydrogen. Is that something new? No. So now there is a Faraday. So then how we can make this free energy? So instead of this battery, we just put the solar energy. Right? Instead of this battery, we remove the battery and put solar energy. Then we get completely free energy. Just buy it, run it. Right? So why we are not doing that? Why we are not doing that? Because it does not have sufficient energy efficiency. It does not produce so much hydrogen with that direct solar power. Okay. Because there is a Faraday law. I don't know whether I have captured it. And what happened? Oh, acha. No, something no.
What is this, sir?
So now this is wonderful thing. You don't know, nobody you know this person's name. Right? But you can note down this name, Stanley Mayer, in your notebook and go do research on internet. It is not joke, it is real story. You have seen the card, what is written? What is written on the card? Hydropower, water power. So he ran this card in one year 1980 around. He and his brother together ran this car, pure water, ran this car, and it came into almost all newspaper. One of them is this one. Many newspapers. How it is possible? How it is possible? Because Faraday law says, one minute. So I think I have removed the Faraday law. So the Faraday law says that beyond 1.34 volt DC potential, whatever potential you give, hydrogen will not increase. So how he can do that? He used right frequency. So it is a patent and he has not given the actual frequency number, but our research clearly says this is something 200 kilohertz. 200 kilohertz, he created a magic in which it used to produce like guzzle hydrogen. It used to produce, like in the video you can see lot of hydrogen coming out. And you know this is not one incident. This is not one incident. And if people like us who do a lot of hard work to find this thing, it is really hard work. Google search, you may not even find it. In normal Google search, you may not find it. You have to use yandex.com, Russian search engine. Many cases, most of these things that I am talking, you may not even get it. Right? So now the question is, what is the right thing he did? Instead of putting DC current, he put a square wave. So if you do a square wave, and if you do first Fourier transform, you will get many potential frequency. If you take a DC voltage, a square wave, and do a first Fourier transform, what will see? Lot of frequencies. So he is according to the theory that I could access and study. This was done at probably at 200 kilohertz. This primary frequency, he got actually split the water profusely. So if you think the stainless was alone, that will be wrong thing to assume. These are the other names, and these at least who did this. And if you search on YouTube, you will see lot of person in Bangladesh, particularly rural Bangladesh, driving their bike with water. Driving their bike with their water, with normal battery. Each of them have done something different, okay? And it is not difficult to do. It's not at all difficult to do. But what happened to Stanley? Stanley died in an interesting meeting with the investor. So after his successful road show, investor came and after the first sip of the drink, he fell on up and started vomiting and died. So now you can assume whatever you want. But the truth is, he is not the first person who died, and he is not the last person who died tried to do this kind of technology. Because I told you, there are too many companies who have interest to not allow this, because they can't sell oil, they can't sell thermal energy, they can't sell electricity, right? So now this is one company called Kinetic 7, who is already selling gas stove, kitchen gas stove using water. You just put some water, put it and it comes. And I have the video of this company. You can open Kinetic 7. In your phone you can open Kinetic 7. .com, kinetic7.com. Open it and see the video. Okay. So this is not one company. Even IIT Bombay last month, IIT Bombay last month presented the same thing. How it is possible? Obviously with frequency. Is that very difficult to do? Not at all. And that is my proposal. That is my proposal, that join me with your entrepreneurship team within the university, collectively get some money. We are not talking about lakhs of rupees, we are talking of thousands of rupees. 4 or 5 students collectively collect some money from different sources, from university or your own pocket, and start with this program. And I will give you everything, whatever I have studied. At least few hundred studies I have done. There are documents, videos. You have to spend and fine-tune your model. What works for you will be different than what works for you. It is very, very configurable. It has to be personalized. So now I have said that everything has a resonance. The first one, last one, right? So let's look at now that everything vibrating at 0 degree Kelvin, right? What does that mean? What does that mean? Is that something completely new? No. No. The modern quantum science says this is 0 point energy. Modern quantum science says this is 0 point energy. Right? And you will say, oh yeah, quantum science, obviously it should be a good grade. But slowly you will learn as you go into this research that 0 point energy is nothing but ether. And what is ether? Ether is Kiti of Murud Bomb Tej, bomb. Kiti of Murud Bomb Tej, that bomb is the ether. Or in other languages call it Akasha. We are with the universe is created the Panchabhuta, right? So this is one of the primary one. This primordial formation of everything happens from this. And the modern physics completely demonize ether. Completely. In our childhood at least we have read ether as an object which the medium in which electromagnetic propagation happened, but later on it has been erased, completely erased. There is no book where you can find reference of either in ether in the context of quantum mechanics. Zero. And this is the sea of energy. Everywhere it is present. So you don't need hydrogen, you don't need oxygen, you don't need solar, you don't need anything. This is so much of energy. How much time? How much time will come to us?
Another 10 minutes, maybe.
10 minutes. So now the question is, how can we trap this infinite ocean of energy? Like Professor actually said the same thing, right? If there is energy everywhere. Right? How do we trap? We have tried solar. We have still see that it does not give the right result. For small calculator, it is perfectly alright. But running a home with your own solar is still a challenge because night there is no sunlight. So you have to have a battery backup, and then cost goes up, and then maintenance of battery goes up. So it is not really a practical solution as well to give. If it was practical or suitable, people could have adopted. Large factories are waiting. In any large factory you go, they have lot of land, right, on the rooftop. But nobody use that because it's not cost effective. Not at all. Only people who use government. You see your hostels are putting up solar cell. Only people who will do is government because they pay this as subsidy. So my theory is anything that goes with subsidy, better avoid it. Whether it is your EV or your fertilizer or your anything, the solar cell. Anything that government gives for subsidy, you understand there's something wrong. As an entrepreneur, our principle should be anything government say, we counter propose something. That is the opportunity for a small business. Government will represent the big business. Our job is to identify something for the small business. So we have to counter whatever government say directly. Then only new opportunity will come for us. So if you think this is just a folklore, this is not right. This 0 point energy is the primary thesis of our scriptures. Which scriptures? There is a specific scripture that talks only on vibration, which is called Spanda Kanika. He says, where the entire universe resounds and vibrates, all that is indeed is the essence of Shiva. So our Lord Shiva is not a person with 2 hands and 2 legs. It is the embodiment, it is the empirical view of this energy is Lord Shiva. So that is why we worship Shiva. Not because he is blessing. Because attuning with that frequency of Lord Shiva will give you what you want, including this energy. So now when you are human, you can do meditate and align yourself with that frequency. But in technology, they cannot meditate. So how do a technology absorb this energy? How do you do that? And that is something toughest thing that we have. So one of the phenomena that already I spoke is tapping this energy is resonant. Some kind of resonance phenomena. And this is not, I'm just saying. I will present example. Okay. And there are many other ways. And some of them ways there are two major divisions. One is this resonance phenomena, other is the magnetism. Our modern science view of magnetism is completely childish. I'm not saying wrong. Completely childish. It's like a toy. The magnetism today that we know with the new researches that coming out, the old researches that are coming out now, out of the 6,000 hidden patents, is mind-blowing. It's a mind-blowing across the globe. And it happened not today, this is happening in last 100 years. Started with Nikola Tesla and then continue even today. And if we are lucky enough, maybe in next few years, all these energy solutions will come and all these stupid energy solutions will vanish one by one. And we are in that structure where we have so much of infinite potential of entrepreneurship to do this technology and do whatever we want. It's an infinite opportunity. Right? So what kind of example I have? The first one is, that is very well known, is Bruce D. Palmer. And when it is done, which university it is done? I don't know, you can read it, let me read you. 1986, San Francisco. It was Stanford, right? Let me see where it is. It was in Stanford, if I remember. So Bruce D. Palmer did this machine in Stanford. 5,000 efficiency of over unity. Over unity means you put some energy to start with, and because of this ether, it gets amplified with some technology help. Like our shark, shark, Shanko. Shanko, what Shanko does? Does Shanko create sound? No, it does not create sound. It amplifies. It amplifies, right? So this is amplifier, but energy amplifier. Okay, so how it happens? So this is like combination of magnet, rotating magnet, and there are other technology which also you never taught, called Maxwell homopolar generator. So a combination of new something and Maxwell homopolar generator is D. Palmer. And it is 5,000. So you put 1 watt, you will get 5 watt. You put 1 kilowatt, you will get 5 kilowatt. And you thought this is only one? No. There are hundreds. There are hundreds of this kind of experiment done. And each of these you can actually, I will give this slide to you. You can actually do your own research. And not all of them are doable by individuals, but the one I said, solar cell splitting, that is certainly very capable thing. Most of you are capable of doing that with your own budget. Particularly boys who have motorcycles, they can experiment with their own motorcycle. Okay. The next one is Dr. Paramahansa Tiwari. Dr. Paramahansa Tiwari, the Indian fellow, and he was the director of Nuclear Power Corporation in Delhi. He died in 2020. And his family still maintain his website, and his research papers are like Veda, real Veda. You will surprised that was I so stupid I did not know this. You really feel jittery that how come I did not know these things? Not one paper, dozens of papers that you have written, and his technology is almost like D. Palmer, where he is almost like 3 times, 30 times. He makes this machine producing 30 kilowatt, this small machine. Can you imagine today's 30 kilowatt generator? 30 kilowatt generator will be like from here to here, or maybe bigger, right? And these, you see the size, tabletop, hardly any noise. And this technology is not something I am telling you exists. You can find each of them online. Each of them. But for heaven's sake, you should not use Google search because they will not show you. Even Grok will not tell you. Even ChatGPT will not tell you the truth. So you have to be really challenge ChatGPT to figure out all these things. Or best is to go to yandex.com, Russian search engine, and then you can find them easily. Yandex, Y-A-N-D-E-X, YANDEX.com, Yandex search engine. So now Paramahansa Tiwari is saying, has been demonstrated in many German universities, US universities. Indian government also officially seen his video or his demonstration. And after Modi came in power, this was uploaded into government website also. Then he had a technology transfer of the Kirloskar family. You know the Kirloskar motors, right? And then within few years he died. After the technology transfer happened, he died. And nothing is coming yet. So somebody is once again suppressed. Okay. The next one is wonderful technology. Is a mind is like a ghost. The next one is ghost. Give some time.
Basically, the design is a conventional generator. The only person self-effect generator.
There are hundreds of videos.
The electrons
You can just know SAR.
accelerated to an
SAR effect, A-C-A-R-S. SAR effect. Generator.
vacuum will develop.
Amazing thing. The physics that exists today cannot explain any of these.
The function of
None.
gravitational force for over 60 years. John Sir.
So if you think these are the three only, that is also not true.
System. Fossil fuels. From history as a child in pre-World War II England came an understanding of mathematics.
Next slide. Next slide.
So we will show that the age is less.
So then I have taken three current companies who still selling this kind of technology. All three exist in internet. Okay, first one is ECAT. He sells a small generator, this kind of small, starting from 10 watt to 1 million watt. Okay, and you can buy this machine and you can run it for ages without any payment. Except that every 4th or 5th year, you have to send them for doing something. That is the complete secret, we don't know. But it is already there, there is no fuel, there is no petrol, there is no gas, nothing. This company is already selling. The price is obviously not cheap because it is new, but it will become cheaper and cheaper day by day. Next one is Holocom Technology Energy. HolocomeEnergySystem.com. HolocomeEnergy.system.com. And it is mind blowing. This is one which actually uses 100% resonance energy. 100% resonance energy. Okay, they have a lot of copper coils and their modules are scalable up to bleed. That means you can make 100 megawatt system. And this will run perpetually without needing petrol, without needing diesel, without needing coal, without needing any solar, nothing. It will perpetually run. And this is not an accident, these are already existing companies. But for you the most exciting company will be this one, called Safe Technologies. This is a surprisingly not an American company, not a European company, but a Zimbabwean company. Zimbabwean company, and the person name is Maxwell Chikumbutsa. I can't even pronounce properly. And what is magic? The magic is, you can see now. I hope to play. Second slide. One more slide.
Users your website can handle. Most load testing tools require days of
So
code,
the advertising
script
goes right.
creation,
It is
and
equal to
infrastructure setup, only to get you a simulated estimate of your load capacity.
Smuggled inventor is just a really simple TV. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Master, that's Sim Tech Guy. If you're new to the channel,
It's amazing. So what he has made,
and if you
first time he released a TV
video,
which never needs to be pumped in power.
in this video, we're going
They maintain a helicopter which don't need additional petrol. No petrol required. No then technology partner. And then he put his power. And you see the video carefully. You see the power module is this small.
helicopter, which can run
There is no diesel, there is no petrol, there is nothing. It runs.
drones and generators, which run
So you think that Dr. Saha is mad or all these people are mad?
Invention's unique is that he did not go to
Right?
school to study engineering or mechanics. In fact, Maxwell dropped out of school when he was just 14 years old. His idea
There are so many videos. Now what happened to him? He started this company with his partner in San Jose, US, California.
that does not mean
And as it was like Stanley Meyer, the investor meeting, after the investor meeting, his partner died on the spot.
his technology.
But he survived, he ran to Zimbabwe and never came back to US. So now he is under military protection by Zimbabwe government. So when I ask for a meeting, they don't give meeting. They say, what is your purpose, everything validated, your government must certify that you are not a terrorist, all those things. And this is happening in your lifetime. And this happened, what happened? No more electricity. No more petrol in your car. No more diesel in your car. You are free man for lifelong. That is what I keep saying. Let this finish is the TV one, right? And watch his auction car this small. You see this energy bomb. And he buy this car, he just changes his EV. He buy the electric vehicle which from China that does not come in the battery. So his model, energy model just plug in. Amazing technology. And you now see what will happen to this country. So America must try to destroy him. Elon Musk is trying to destroy him. Or try to buy him. So we are watching every day. Every day watching my father is saying, what is the status? Is he alive?
That this TV will become a reality in people's homes, especially in Africa, where electricity supply is a challenge. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, see you in the next video.
Oh, it's almost done. Okay. So this is last slide. His name is Maxwell Chikumbutso. So this is where I end. Okay. So free energy is not only the energy is available free, it is freeing you and me from the clutches of the government control and the big business control. Because energy is the major political instrument. Petrol is the major political instrument. Diesel is the major political instrument. So the free energy will change this universe. This world. Okay. That's where I stop and I am able, I will write down my phone number. I will write down my phone number, I forgot. Can you see my phone number? Anybody needs any help related to any kind of entrepreneurship, I am available on this number. You can WhatsApp me. Phone will be always not possible, but WhatsApp 100% I will respond. Okay. So now our next session will start, right?
Subir Saha for his wonderful lecture on Indeed Energy Street. We have really enjoyed, and I am hopeful that our students, scholars, and the faculty members of various departments have taken a note of all this which they might have found interesting. And Dr. Saha has given his contact number, so you are free to contact him anytime. If you have any ideas, if you have courage to take the risk, and also the pleasure of starting something new, you can contact him and you can contribute to the society, economy, and the country, and the whole civilization. Thank you so much. We are at the end of the first session. We will take a 5-minute break and then we will start the session on workshop on entrepreneurship. Thank you.
This next session, I will need you in the computer
Okay,
typing.
sir.
Okay. Lot of search.
Sure, sir. No issues.
চা তো বাইরে আসে, দেখো তো চা কেউ দিতে পারবে কিনা।
Thank you.